championships. This is a conference semi, and yet the scene was what?
It wasn't championship celebration, Scott, but it was in the ballpark. For number one, 11 different guys played in this game. 10 different guys scored a basket. And as each guy came in the locker room, there was something to celebrate for all of them. Whether it was getting a loose ball, whether it was getting a big rebound, getting a tip, getting a steal. And then obviously as the core players, the core four as they call them, here with the Warriors, came through, they were euphoric. Klay Thompson was as animated as you will ever see him. Draymond Green stood outside the locker room and waited for Steph Curry to come back in and clapped and celebrated with him. Not only a victory for them in a situation where they were down a star, and Kevin Durant's uniform was hanging in a locker. He was sort of there in spirit. But the first time they've won a playoff series without Durant, where they got a big closeout game in 3 years. And it wasn't really anything against Durant, but for them to do that under these circumstances, it was like a series and a half victory. And, of course, they've been looking forward to this series all year. This has been a buildup of 350-some days to get back to this moment.
It's interesting to me, Brian, to paint them as dogs. And, look, they were. This is the biggest underdog they were in Vegas since Steve Kerr's been the coach. And I get why. But we're talking about a group of guys, core four, that have done plenty of winning. They've had parades, and they did so before Durant got there. So, I mean, do you feel like they talked themselves into us against the world? Nobody believes we're the dogs here? Is that what they did?
I mean, I think if you look at the first half, some of the lineups that they were playing,
right,
some of the guys they were relying on, I mean, it was a Santa Cruz Warriors type situation. And I think that was a factor, too. Not just the core guys, but the guys who, all contributed. And this has been a team that's been maligned for having a thin bench. So not only that they were able to get this victory, but that there was so many people to celebrate it with. The fact that they were tied at half with Curry with 0 points, that was amazing. The fact they were only down 5 going into the fourth quarter, that was amazing. And then obviously you have Curry with the explosion.
And just the last thought, the satisfaction of doing this against, not just with Durant absent, but against this team in that building. How much does it magnify what this semifinal conference playoff series win mean?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. As the players are going into the locker room, quite a few were bringing up Chris Paul's name, and it wasn't always in the greatest of light. I think that there's a real animosity. Maybe there's a buried respect, but they like sending a message. They didn't get to give the Damian Lillard bye-bye on the court, but let's just say off the court, those sentiments were related.
Brian, appreciate it. Look forward to talking throughout the remainder of the playoffs. I got to remind myself after a night like this, there's a long way to go, man. You still got to win 8 more games.
I know, we're only halfway through.
Exactly. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. So the final 5 minutes of the game. This is we keep bringing up the no points at halftime, right? Well, let's just the final 5 minutes, winning time, if you will. You see what he did with 16 of the 32 coming then, and 4 of 8 from 3.